Anyways, I have noticed some changes in the recruiting strategies of the University of Georgia, and this is kind of like bearing out over year. Since I would say the first recruiting class that was NIL based or at least impacted by NIL was obviously the 2022 class, right? That's the Texas A&M oil money class. That is the Michael Williams class. That's the Kristen Miller class. That's the USC actually having a run despite Clay Helton being the head coach, and a walking duck class. That's the Tennessee class. Y'all get it. That's that class. That's that first class of, hey, y'all can spend this bread legally. Go see what y'all can do with it. And since that moment, and obviously transfer portal impacting as well, since that moment, I have been kind of just tracking, just kind of noticing what's going on, paying attention. I think Georgia's always been an in-state football program. They're going to take the best players available from this state. But more so, I think they've leaned on some things since these things have come into impact, right? Georgia is very much so still a national brand. They're still going to sign players from New Jersey, California, Texas, Tennessee. Like, they're going to go out and find the best players for their program across the board. That's what they do year in and year out since Kirby Smart's been here. I would say since about 2019, he's pretty much had a national brand. Now he's winning 2 back-to-back titles, so he can pretty much go anywhere and do whatever he wants. But that being said, in between all of that, in between all of the national brand stuff, in between, signing the top players from California and signing the top players from Arizona or whatever, there's always been a mix of in-state, quote unquote, Georgia kids, right? What is a Georgia kid? Well, in my opinion, Georgia kids are football players that grew up in this state, love this state, and would die to play for the University of Georgia. It's been their dream. It's what they want to do. It is the quintessential in-state program player. Most importantly, they have to love the University of Georgia. Okay, but all of these players have unique traits. They have takeable traits, if you will. Some of them happen to be really, really great football players, but I've identified a few just since the 2022 class that when I look at the roster and I think how it's constructed, these players are monumental. These players are very, very important. These players likely won't ever leave your roster. These players will pay dividends into your roster for year over year over year. And you won't have to worry about their price tag changing, and you won't have to worry about them necessarily leaving, and you won't have to worry about them necessarily hitting the portal. You won't have to worry about any of that because you got a Georgia kid. You got a University of Georgia kid who loves that school and loves to play for that school. And the list of these names, I think they stick out like a sore thumb. Again, some of these players, like Kristen Miller, highly ranked football player, but that dude loved Georgia. Georgia was not recruiting Kristen Miller hard until like mid-October of his senior year. He always wanted to play for Georgia. Always. They finally got in. They got him. And now, well, guess what? That dude's a Georgia Bulldog. And he's going to stay a Georgia Bulldog. C.J. Madden, Pierce Sperling, Lawson Lucky. Okay, those are just the last couple of classes. Jamal Merriweather, Cole Spear. These are Georgia kids, folks. These are kids that are not just in-state guys. These are kids that didn't require, a whole lot of nonsense to get to your program. These are kids that are staples of your program. And if you go into looking at this class, they're adding more and more of these every single class. They're hammering out the national title, the national prospects. Do not get me wrong. Okay. They will land the Dylan Raiolas, or they will attempt to in every single class. But Dylan Raiola is just as important to this class as Justin Green and Zacoby White and guys like Malachi Tolliver and guys like Quintavious Johnson that just committed yesterday. These players are vital in an era of college football where guys are always asking, what can I get from the next program? And they're always worrying about going somewhere else. And they're always, that's what the world of college football looks like right now. Okay. And when you sign these kids that love Georgia, and when you sign these kids that don't need anything to come to Georgia, they just want to come to Georgia, you ain't really got to worry about asset retention come portal windows. You know what I mean? Like, if you really, really look at how the portal operates, okay, yes, there are kids that enter the portal and then go to the biggest bag school. They go to the school and that's why they went into the portal, right? They went into the portal to capitalize on their skill set. More power to them. But if you look at the other kids, the other 90% of kids that aren't just going to be a free agent, if you look at the rest of them, I would say majority of them transfer back closer to home, right? Major Burns might not have ever worked out at the University of Georgia. He was a second teamer. He went back home. Shone Washington might not have ever worked out at Georgia, okay? But he's going to go back home. He's in a JUCO now, and he's going to go back home. Okay. Now, I'm just saying, do you think they might have learned from those? I'm not going to call them mistakes, but I'm going to say those decisions. Adonai Mitchell, do you think they learned from these decisions and started to say, hey, maybe we need to prioritize kids who prioritize us, right? While also landing the best players available. And if they happen to be a combination of both CJ Allen, if they happen to be a combination of both Malachi Starks, right? They happen to be a combination of both, more power to us. But we definitely have to prioritize these in-state kids who prioritize us as things progress with this name, image, and likeness stuff. Hey, shall we watch some tape before we get into Q&A? Make sure you're loading up Q&A. Make sure you're getting after it up in that chat. We got some Q&A going on tonight. We got some film to watch tonight. We're going to watch Quintavious Johnson, our guy from Mays that just committed to the University of Georgia yesterday. Spoiler alert, breaking news here. Gonna get a big ratings bump. I'm just gonna let you know, right? I don't know what he's ranked now, but he's probably gonna bump up 100 spots, 200 spots, whatever it is. Okay, just Georgia signed another 3-star for now. I every year I think we should timestamp this stuff. And look, man, it's not a ranting or it's not a rankings rant right here, but y'all stop being ranking slaves. All of you, every single one of you. Okay. It's great because you're a Georgia fan. They're always ranked high. Every player is always going to be ranked high. But it's not the point. The idea of the recruiting industry is way too big. There are way too many kids to evaluate. There are going to be misses. You know who doesn't miss? Georgia. You know who doesn't miss? Alabama. You know who doesn't miss? The guys whose jobs are on the line if they don't identify proper talent. Okay. That is not the case at some of these ranking places. Okay. So don't pay attention too much to the rankings. All right. Just to let you know. The machine's too big. Okay. No one's going to see all these kids. It's impossible. No one's going to be able to place a proper ranking on all these kids. So you know what they're doing? They're offer tracking, they're commitment tracking, they're board tracking, right? If a kid is a take at Georgia and we have him as a recruiting service ranked 250, or excuse me, if we have him as a recruiting service ranked 850, we probably missed something if the two-time natty defending champ thinks the guy's a damn take. You follow me? So he's going to get a recruiting bump. All right, so that's just your recruiting intel for the night. Shall we watch some tape? Let's do it. Shut up. Grind the tape. Guy puts it in his own daggum screen up in the top left-hand corner and don't even grind tape. Who is this guy? Don't worry about it. Here we go. I'm going to tell you right now, the first thing I noticed from our boy Quintavious, my boy long, my boy big long. Here he is right here. And the other thing you'll notice, he's playing a true 4-eye right here, which is probably what he's going to play at the University of Georgia. Okay, Georgia has moved on from, in my opinion, they have, based off what they've been doing the last two classes, and we could talk about this too. Georgia has moved on from traditional edges, right, or outside linebacker prospects. Jamonte Waller, great football player. Georgia's done recruiting those 6'2.5", 230-pound guys that we don't know if they're going to play edge or they probably should play inside backer. They're done. Okay, what Georgia is now appearing to do is 6'4 plus on the edge. And why? Why does this matter? Why are guys like Quintavious Johnson shooting up the board at the University of Georgia and guys like Jamonte Waller are kind of like, I don't know, coach. Well, it's a byproduct of college football. Okay, what has happened to college football offenses? They're constantly getting the ball out of their hands quickly. Do you remember watching Georgia play last year? Every single team they played was, immediately, ball in their hands, get it out. They didn't sack Bo Nix despite the fact that absolutely destroying that offense for 4 quarters. Never could get to them. Why? They were getting the ball out of their hands so fast. Screens, tunnels, RPO actions, all the stuff that is immediate, designed to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. So if we can't get to them, we better bother them somehow. And what's the best way to bother a quarterback? If you can't get him to the ground, hands up. Hands up and length. Okay, if I can push the pocket on you and instead of 6'2.25" over there and 6'3.25" over there, now all of a sudden, shit, that guy's 6'6", that guy's 6'5.5", that dude's 260 and pushing that right tackle in on my chest. That dude's 250, and my God, is he a freak. Okay, that's Damon Wilson. That dude just did 225 like 16 times. What the hell's going on over there? Who is that kid, or how many times he did it on social media this week? You get what I'm saying? They have gone away. I love Nolan Smith. They haven't recruited a Nolan Smith since Chaz Chambliss. They haven't recruited Chaz Chambliss in 2 classes. They don't. That's not what they're doing anymore. Look at their offers. Look what they're doing. If you're not 6'4", 6'5", you're not playing edge. You're not playing defensive end. You're not doing it. So when we see Quintavious Johnson, when you look at the tape, my God, it jumps off the screen. Look how damn long the dude is. So there you go. That is a takeable trait. In-state, came to camp, balled out, big as hell, long as hell, comfortable playing in a 4-eye. That's a whole lot of boxes checked for an in-state kid that loves Georgia, right? So there you go. Also, something that I noticed about Southeast Atlanta football, let me tell you something right now. These boys love playing football. They've been playing football since youth. They've been shaking it since youth. They've been getting after it on a football field since youth. These kids are joyous about this shit. Look how long them arms are, guys. That is an avatar. All right. That is modern defensive end. I think Georgia and the rest of college football is going to start moving away from this outside linebacker, this guy who doesn't know if he's a space player, doesn't know if he's a pass rusher. We don't know if he can hold up on first down, coach, against the run. Okay, damn all that. Damn all that. Get me a bunch of Chase Youngs. Okay, I know they don't grow Chase Youngs on trees, but damn, they sure seem like they are nowadays. I mean, this dude's 6'5", 250 in high school football right now. All right? And again, joyous about his football. And yeah, I see some comments talking about the hand fighting. He is shedding blocks. I think this is one of the clips that I remember looking at earlier today. Yep. Okay. When he gets hands on, when he extends, you see people move. Okay. What does that tell me? That tells me you have powerful hands. You have shock in your hands. And that is a valuable skill set for a defensive lineman. Valuable skill set. Oh, we get a tight angle right here. Let's see what my boy does. Ooh. Yeah, no, he's skinny ankled. Oh, I think I see some bow leg in this too, boys. Uh-huh. I see what I see. I see knee outside of ankle. I see knee outside of ankle. I see really, really good ankle bend. I see good hand shock separating. I see length. See a Georgia mover. That's what I see. When I go to look on tape, I better see a Georgia mover. There's a guy that is getting some love at a position that we evaluated the other night that is, I don't think is a Georgia mover. Georgia movers stick out, man. They move fluid as hell. They are never stiff. They're never in bad spots. They're always violent. They're always smooth. This is a Georgia mover. This guy moves like a Georgia football player. Here we go. I don't see a ton of we don't see a ton of bend yet. Okay, I like the anticipation here. Notice him gain ground as the offensive lineman does as well. That's good reaction and anticipation from the play in front of you. I think this is them playing. It looks like Creekside. I think that says the Tribe on the back. Them some big boys. That's definitely. It must be the Creekside. I don't know. It's a big offensive line they're playing against right there. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about comfortability. Now he moves into a head up two right here, but hey, he's going to be asked to do some stuff like this when he gets to Georgia, play inside a little bit. Look at him get flat right there. I love that. Oh, all right. Now, some people in the chat will probably say, Brooks, was he too early of a take considering all the guys that they have on their board? That's a question for Kirby Smart. That's a question for Trey Scott. That's a question for all those guys. But when I hear that a kid has come onto campus multiple times, including this week, okay, and just done everything that he needed to do to be a Georgia Bulldog, then you green light those kids. Because you know what happens if you don't? They turn into Will Anderson at Alabama, right? These in-state kids, I'm also telling you that Will Anderson scared the shit out of Georgia. I mean, you talking about pain or regret. I used to have a high school football coach tell me there's only two types of pain in this life: pain of discipline and pain of regret. You either pay it forward, right? You either pay the pain of being disciplined or you pay the regret of not being disciplined when the result comes to you, right? Pain of regret is a real thing with Will Anderson for the University of Georgia because they just got in late. They just didn't get there in time when they probably should have. That's why I truly believe that's why they took CJ Madden a couple classes ago, who's going to get some playing time this year, it looks like, right? I do believe it's why they take guys like Quintavious Johnson, Okay, when they pop up and they come to camp and they dominate. Hey, coach, we can't keep letting guys like this slide, right? Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman is a real, what did we do wrong there? Because he was a beast in college and he's a Georgia kid. And he never thought about coming to Georgia. They never recruited him hard enough. They regret that. They don't let that happen anymore. They try not to. It's why they take kids like they did yesterday. All right. Oh, hey there. What you just watched was a portion of our live broadcast, Nothing But Rants, NBR, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. They're not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. If you want to join us live, we are live Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 9 p.m. here on the channel. Please subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. If you like it, there's probably more in one of these windows. We'll see you next time.